Hey guys, Thomas here with Scratch That Cooking. This is part three of the Kitchen Basics videos. We're going to be covering knives, cookware, pretty much the basic items a beginner home cook will need to kind of get going in the kitchen, the kind of things you'll be able to build up on. So give it a watch through. It's a little over 15 minutes. So it's a longer video, but there's some good stuff in here. And yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, so let's dive into kind of utensils that you're going to need to get going, especially to start cooking. Now, this is kind of this old adage of the hammer doesn't make the carpenter, right? It's going to be the skill sets you have that make good food, not the utensils you have that make good food. But obviously, having the right tools on hand will make your life a lot easier. So, there's a few basic things to get started with that you'll want. One are good knives. Really important is to have sharp knives. Dull knives are going to be dangerous, right? They slip on food. They cause more injuries than sharp. It's just it's really more of a safety concern. I upgraded. I stopped using. This is the knife I used for years. It was one my mom gave to me when I kind of went to college. I don't know how long she had it even. It's an old Wusthof. It's an 8-inch. Really dull at this point. I used this for a long time until I kind of upgraded. This is a 10-inch chef's knife. It's a Wusthof as well. Had a buddy working at Sur La Table who hooked me up with his employee discount, so I got a really nice chef's knife for about half off, which was great. But that would be the first thing I'd recommend doing is getting yourself a decent chef's knife, 8-inch or 10-inch. I prefer 10-inch. You can do more with it. Things will go faster, especially food prep stuff will go faster, and then you can always get a paring knife or something to scale down from there. This is a 6-inch utility knife I have, and a 3-inch paring knife. Both of those are just kind of to fill in the gaps if I need some smaller, delicate work. But really, the chef's knife, 8-inch or 10-inch, is going to be doing 90% of the work in the kitchen. So that's where you kind of want, if you're going to invest money in the kitchen, that's where I would start. And you can go with a decent cheap knife, like Cook's Illustrated always recommends the Victorinox 8-inch chef's knife. It's like $30 or something, really cheap. Or you can invest a little more money. Kenji Lopez over at Serious Eats has some really good recommendations for a little step up from there, but that are some really decent knives in that like $60 to $120 range that are pretty good. So get it sharp and keep it sharp. That's the key there, is that when you go in, and what I would recommend doing is not just buying offline, walk into a Sur La Table, go to Williams Sonoma, somewhere you can actually pick up these knives. And they'll even have potatoes there and stuff you can practice cutting. Don't be impressed how sharp they are. They're all going to be sharp. They're all brand new knives. So it's not like, oh wow, this is way better than mine because it's sharp. No, it's just a brand new knife, so of course it's sharp. So look at how it feels in your hand, right? Using the right grip, with that whole kind of pen grip versus, you're not going to be holding a chef's knife this way. You have less control than holding it right up here at the bolster. So hold it, kind of just see how it feels in your hand. I'm a bigger guy, I'm 6'2", 200 plus pounds, bigger hands. So I like, the 10-inch bigger German knife feels good in my hand. It doesn't feel too heavy, but if you're smaller and petite, this might feel like a pretty heavy knife you don't want to be chopping with all day. So consider that. Just see how it feels. Get the one that feels nice. I thought at first I'd get like a Japanese style knife. They're much thinner. They don't stay as sharp as long, but they get much sharper. I just didn't like how they felt. I think my fingers are too fat or something. It was like just how I was holding the knife just did not feel great. Kind of almost, it didn't hurt, but it was just like this, it fell off. The German knives, the bigger, thicker ridge on the back, and just felt a lot firmer and more secure in my hand when I was using it. So get in, test it out, invest in a decent knife that you can kind of grow with to an extent. And then you want to maintain the knife, right? It's not going to stay sharp. So get a honing rod. This is a ceramic honing rod. I just swipe my knives down them. You can Google or YouTube how to do it. I'll probably do a video like that at some point. But keeps your knife sharp. It maintains the edge. It won't replace an edge, right? So if you have, I could do this all day. It's really not going to fix this 20-year-old dull knife that's never been sharpened. If you have a knife like that, you don't need to throw it out. Just bring it to someone who can sharpen knives, and it's cheap. It's usually $1 an inch. So like $8 to get that knife sharpened.
And that can be a good option for you too if you've got a hand-me-down knife that's just dull. Just get it sharpened, and it'll be great. And then maintain it with a honing rod. If you get a honing rod, this is an Idaho. I think they're made in Idaho, which is pretty cool, but don't quote me on that. This is a ceramic. I did some research on steel versus ceramic. Ended up going with ceramic. It does take some of the metal off of the blade, which anytime you sharpen it will. So this is kind of sharpening, but not really. Not like you would with an actual whetstone. So you will get, if you can tell, there's all of these little markings on here, right? And that's actually, little metal filaments that have kind of come onto the blade, because it feels really smooth. It's actually rough, if you were to zoom in with a microscope. So they actually sell a super eraser, they call it, which is kind of like this rubbery eraser. Yeah, you kind of just rub it on here, and it'll take all those metal filings right off. It says you can wash them with dish soap, but I don't know. I feel weird about that for some reason. I've seen some really rusty ones of these, so that's why. And I've assumed because metal filings get in there, they get wet, people don't clean them, and then, yeah, they get super rusty. I guess then the other thing that obviously goes along with knives is the cutting board. Depending on your size kitchen, I would recommend getting the biggest cutting board you can use in your kitchen that's not going to be cumbersome. I've actually got this butcher block countertop I got installed after we bought the house. My buddy Josh from college, he runs a little wood shop, a little Boise wood shop, and he built this for me and installed it. He did a great job, and it's awesome. It's a end grain butcher block countertop. Yeah, I love it. I do all my food prep right on it, and yeah, there's stains on it, and I beat it up, but it's great. But if you don't have that option, get a decent cutting board. This is actually from IKEA. It's like 15 or 20 bucks or something, maybe a little more than that. It's bamboo. It's not end grain. It's bamboo. It goes across, but it's got the ridge in there. It's nice and big. Actually, I bought two for some reason before we had moved in here and before we got this installed, and yeah, didn't need to. Give it to my mom, and she loves it now. So decent. I still use it when I'm doing meat. This is what I use for meat now, so I'm not doing meat right on the butcher block counting board. So I guess that's another kind of tip there. Get more than one. If you get a big main one, maybe if you have a smaller kitchen for vegetables that you're gonna be cooking the most, and then maybe get some like here. I've got these thinner kinds of cutting board, right, that can go right on top if you want to do meat or something like that, or just get a smaller, one for meat, so you can not cross-contaminate and stay safe. It's important. That's kind of the main cookware items, honestly, for the prep. We'll get into some other little miscellaneous things a little later that I use for prep, but yeah, knives, keeping care of knives, and then the cutting board. So knives, honing rod, and cutting board. Those are very important for getting going. You don't really need to go beyond that when you're just getting started. Once you start getting down the road, you'll probably want some kitchen shears. Those are really helpful. Some other things like that. Oh, I will say, I'll throw this in there. A bench scraper. These are great. It's like 10 bucks, a little less. You'll see people picking up stuff with their knives, and then they try to carry it over to the dish to put it in, like chopped onions or something, and they'll pick it up with the pick it up and go to drop it in, and you're dropping onions everywhere. Same thing you can do with this. It's just a little, it's a little wider, easier to do. You can scoop it right up. And I actually use this to clean my butcher block all the time, and it works great for that. So some other items. So the other obvious next step is the cookware you're going to want to get and be using. Biggest thing or main thing I would suggest getting right off the bat is a 12-inch frying pan. Right. I used this 10-inch Lodge for years. I still use it. Obviously, it's here. This is my main cooking dish for a long time. It's 10-inch, not a 12-inch, and I wish I would have got a 12-inch sooner. The reason being is that these Lodge cast irons have got really straight edges, as you can tell, kind of here. Which means if you're doing a recipe that calls for a 12-inch, especially if it's got like a sauce or a liquid base to it, you're going to be right up to the edge of this and splattering all over the place, and you're going to be jostling for room, basically. And you want room when you're cooking. Make sure things are cooking correctly and they're not steaming or something like that, especially for if you're doing pieces of meat. You don't want to crowd it in there. So now I use going to pronounce this totally wrong because I'm actually said it out loud. I should just read it. No, it's a Mafter, bourgeois. That's not right. Bourgeois. That's not right at all. But it's a black steel 12-inch pan, and so the cooking space down here is actually still 10 inches, but on top here, these sloped sides, it's 12 inches across. And this gives you more room volume right in the pan, so when you're cooking, things are coming right up to the edge. You get more space around the edges too when you're putting, scallops or shrimp or chicken, pieces of chicken around. You have more room there. So I recommend getting a 12-inch, right? Getting bigger than smaller never hurts. It's good to have multiple pieces. So I got a cookware set, from Cuisinart just for our wedding gift, right? And that came with a couple non-sticks. I don't use non-stick too often. I prefer the black steel or the cast iron. Both of them you have to season just like cast iron. So black steel is similar to that. Easy to maintain though, and you just get better Maillard reactions, with a traditional frying pan versus a non-stick, and you don't have to worry about, I can use whatever I want in here, metal utensils, whatever. I don't have to worry about scraping out Teflon or something like that. It's going to poison me. So 12-inch there. Get something you put a lid on. That's why I used this for so long, right? It came with a lid. That was great. But if you need a 12-inch with a lid, that's great too. But really you just need 1 or 2 frying pans to really get going, of varying sizes, so you can do a side dish and a main entree, something like that. Dutch ovens, super important. I definitely recommend getting a Dutch oven sooner than later. I'll just open you up to a whole bunch of different kinds, especially like roasts, if you're doing roasts or anything like, or big soups, or if you want to make your own chicken stock. A Dutch oven's big. So this is a Lodge enamel Dutch oven. I also have up here, that's what I used for years too, and I still use. I'm actually, I'm letting it rust right now so I can do a post on how to fix that, basically, how to kind of re-season a cast iron. But those are like 8-quart Dutch ovens, really handy to have. They can go right in the oven. I baked, my first loaf of bread I baked was in that Dutch oven, and it turned out beautifully. I was super happy with it. Yeah. Though obviously the non-enameled is going to be a lot cheaper than the enameled. This was a gift, an Easter gift a couple of years ago. This was our, Kylie's mom, Colleen, got it for us. It was our Easter basket. So there's all kinds of little cooking goodies in here, some snacks and stuff. It was really cool. But yeah, 8-quart Dutch oven is going to serve you really well, especially when you're going down the road. Pans. Another important thing to think about, sheet pans. So this is a quarter pan, which, a full pan is, as you can imagine, about 4 times as big as this. And that's kind of a traditional term from restaurants, right? So quarter and half pans are what's probably going to fit in your oven. Anything bigger than that probably won't fit in a traditional oven. Especially if you're going up to a half pan, even from a quarter pan to a half pan. I recommend measuring your oven dimensions. Not just the oven, measure the actual grate that these are going to be sitting on. Some slant and do some weird things so they fit correctly. So make sure the pan you're getting is going to fit that. But get 2 of these. Get 2 quarter pans, sheet pans. This is any roasting you're going to be doing is going to be right on here. Also, forgot to get it out. It's worth getting 1 or 2 of these. This little wire thing that goes on top. When I'm making chicken wings, for example, I'll put this over, have the chicken wings on top, and that lets the fat drop down. It lets the air circulate. Things cook better, right? Definitely get 2 of these. I can actually fit 2 of these this direction in an oven. It's one side by side. Usually I'm putting 1 on each rack, and then I'll kind of rotate around. Probably could just do 2 on once, but at least 2 of these. They're cheap. You can get really good deals at like a restaurant supply store. It's hard to find ones that aren't nonstick. I don't like using nonstick stuff. It's just like a snobby thing for me. But I'll use parchment paper if I need something down, or I'll just use it right on the pan, as you can tell from the stains. It's, it is what it is. I think if you, like I said, nonstick, I think kind of contributes to less browning. I don't know how accurate that is. This is my experience, but yeah, 2 quarter sheet pans. One's fine to get started, but if you have 2, you'll have a lot more options, and they're really not like, it's like, $15, $20 for one, and you're gonna have them for years. So it's kind of a quality investment. I think Viking is the main brand that makes some, especially if you're going to get them from like a restaurant supply store where they're a lot cheaper. They go into like Williams Sonoma or Sur Table. Yeah, they're quality. They're used. They're kind of made to get beat up in a restaurant, used in and out of an oven all day. So they're going to be fine for home use. Let's get them there. Um, yeah, that kind of covers the main cookware. Really, there's a lot more you can do. Right, you probably want some saucepans. Um, you can pick them up ad hoc if you don't want to just if you don't want to drop $100 on a big set. You can get some deals. But I'd say definitely get the 12-inch, the quarter, 12-inch frying pan, 2 quarter pans, and consider it's a bigger investment, but consider getting a 8-quart Dutch oven, especially yeah if you're going to be doing any kind of roast or soups. If that's something that intrigues you, definitely go down that route. And then if you're going to be doing sauces, or if you're going to be wanting to do sides and stuff like that, then you'll probably want some saucepans. I think this is like a 6-quart here. Yeah, so you can kind of just ad hoc what you need when you need it, rather than buying a whole set, or just get a whole set and you've got everything you need. That's easy, and it'll come with all the lids and stuff that you want.
Hey, if you're still here, you rock. That's a longer video. If you have any questions on specifics or brands or anything you should be looking for, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll give you some recommendations. Obviously, I haven't tried everything, but I know it works for me. As well, you can head over to the blog, scratchadcooking.com, and leave a comment or shoot me a contact form over there. Part 4 of the video, it's going to cover less kind of the core things you'll need to cook with and more miscellaneous items, things that'll make your lives a little easier, the spatulas, the wooden spoons, that kind of stuff. As well as the best tool in the world that I forgot about. So yeah, it's at the very end of part 4, and that's some clickbait for you. So go ahead and click on through. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you in part 4.